Hello, American literature students. Welcome to the fourth week of our semester. So this is the week that we look at the Founding Fathers. Now, this is an important week because a lot of what you're going to read today still is relevant, or actually what you're going to read this week is still relevant today in the 21st century. There's an illusion that your teachers tried to teach you back in elementary school, middle school, high school, that the Founding Fathers were all great friends and they all had the same ideas for what was best for our new country, and that everybody was on board with seceding from Great Britain, and everybody was on board with this new Constitution that now is the current Constitution that we actually operate our government under. But there's this illusion that everybody in the United States thought this new Constitution was going to be great and that it was written with no conflict. Likewise, the Declaration of Independence. Everybody thought that all Thomas Jefferson had to do was write a Declaration of Independence. Everybody signed off on it, and boom, it was made into law. Well, actually, you're going to find as you read this week's readings that there was a lot of conflict among our Founding Fathers. In fact, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson very famously hated each other. And there's a tale about how they did both die on the same day, which happened to be July the 4th, 1820 or 1830, I don't remember which year. And there's a very famous tale about how one was taking his last breath and said, "I can't believe that other guy outlived me," when the truth is that other guy had died just about 3 or 4 hours sooner. So he died thinking the other guy had outlived him, even though he had outlived the other guy. And I don't remember which was which, but it kind of gives you an idea of how people look at today's political climate and how fractured it is, and how everybody either is far to the left or far to the right. There's not a lot of moderates anymore, and how everybody insults each other, and how everybody's fighting, and how Congress can't get anything done because of what in the Federalist Papers is going to be called faction. That's nothing new. That happened with the Founding Fathers, and we're still seeing that today. So, look at the slideshow, read this stuff closely, and you've got two questions. One of them is about slavery. You're going to find as you read this stuff from Franklin and from Jefferson and from the Federalist Papers and from Thomas Paine, you're going to find that slavery is mentioned a lot, and especially by Jefferson. And then the disagreements as they were trying to form a new nation. That would be the other paper topic, and the one I would probably write about if I were you, showing how the Federalist Papers were actually an attempt by John J. Alexander Hamilton and James Madison to convince the people of New York that we need a new Constitution. Our country was under something called the Articles of Confederation at the time, and there were a lot of people getting very rich off of those laws while the masses were suffering. And so the people of New York had to be convinced that this was a bad thing. So that's what I really want you to concentrate on, is the differences that the Founding Fathers had. You've got Franklin with his Way of Wealth, which is a bunch of stuff from Poor Richard's Almanac, and it's a very entertaining read. There's also a very educational read, talking about being thrifty and talking about how to spend money wisely instead of spending money wasting it on nice clothes and stuff like that. And the ending is hilarious because everybody says, "Right on, we agree with everything you said," and then they go and waste money on clothes and stuff. So that's a very humorous moment, but it has a lot of these sayings that you've probably heard throughout your lifetime that are useful. Then there's that's followed up by Thomas Paine, who is going to make the argument that the United States, or the colonies, the English colonies on North American continent, need to break free from England because of the tyranny of King George III and his government officials. Then you got Thomas Jefferson, who's going to tell you how the Declaration of Independence was really written. You're going to find, as you read this, that it was heavily edited by many of the delegates that were at the convention. The Declaration of Independence was supposed to be signed on July the 1st, but because there was so much disagreement on what to put in it, it ended up not being signed until the 4th. And even then, not every state, every colony was represented. Every colony did have somebody sign, but there were people who still didn't like it. And then, of course, the Federalist Papers, the argument that the Articles of Confederation are a failure, that we need to go ahead and write a whole new Constitution, which gives a little more power to the central government. And as I said, a lot of people did not want that. But now, today, with the Constitution being the law of our land, everybody's all about the Constitution. But that wasn't the case back when it was written. And you're going to learn that as you read these Federalist Papers. All right, so with that in mind, let's talk about the essays. You've got tonight, if you're watching this on Monday, you've got the one on the English settlement that's due. Go back through your first 2 essays. Read my comments. See why you got the grade you got. Now, I want to address this. I've had several students in this class send me emails saying, why did I get such a low grade? 2 weeks ago I sent you a document telling you how to open up your essay and see my comments. You need to do that. If you send me an email saying, why did I get such a low grade, I'm just going to tell you, open the essay and read my comments. That's all I'm going to tell you, because I made those comments. If you got a low grade, it took me a long time to grade your essay. The people that got A's on these essays, and there were lots of people that got A's on these essays, it didn't take me any time at all to grade those essays. The ones that were low grades took me a long time because I had to make so many comments. And then to have that student ask me, how come I got such a low grade? My answer is going to be, open up the doggone essay and find out for yourself. So that's going to be my answer. I will not make as many comments on these last 3 essays. After reading those first 2 essays, you should know basically what you need to work on and improve upon to get better grades. If you've not turned in an essay yet, you don't get that benefit. You're going to get whatever grade you get, and that's just going to be the end of it. So that's all I have to say about those essays. So get that English Colonies essay in tonight. Start reading the Founding Fathers, and forget everything you were taught in history classes in high school. You're going to learn that these Founding Fathers had all kinds of issues and whatnot of their own. So with that in mind, I hope you enjoyed this educational experience, and I look forward to seeing your responses to the Founding Fathers next week.